Let me explain something to the person that's watching this video right now. If you feel like you have to restart multiple times in your life, that's probably a realistic standpoint on things. You are going to restart so many times in life that I can't even count the amount of time that you're probably going to have to restart and try something again. I'm only 27 years old and I feel like I've had to restart who I am. Not saying who I want to be, because sometimes you have to restart in order for you to become. Because I'll just say it like this in a story. I went home this past weekend and I was talking to my dad, right? Now I'll say this, my walk in faith and with God has not been that long. I'm not going to even say it's been 10 years. It's probably realistically me actually reading the word and like even failing over and over again. It hasn't even been 5 years. It's realistically been a good 3 years, 4 years of being stronger or getting stronger as we go each and every day. But I went home and I was talking to my father, and we got into just a conversation, and I started telling him about King David and King Saul and the book of 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel. And my dad just looked, because his main question was, what do I think? What do I think the actual purpose, our purpose is? And that was a very interesting question that my dad asked me. But to keep it short, at the end of that conversation, right? Because how people see what purpose is for each and every one of us is different. But how I see it is one way because of what I have read in the word and what I perceive it to be. But I will say this, what I believe in our purpose is to really do is not to live with our gifts and to make money through it. It's to really learn who God is while we have the time here. And growing that relationship strong enough to know that when someone asks you if you know you're going to heaven or hell, you know the answer. So, but at the end of the conversation of talking about 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, King Saul's hard heart, King David, how he grew and doing all that type of stuff, man, my dad, 67 years old, and he told me, a 27-year-old, that he wants to start reading the Bible more with me. He wanted to start studying the word more. Now, my dad has already been experienced to this. I didn't grow up in a house of churchgoers and people that knew the word and praying all the time, stuff like that. That was something I fell upon. And now people in my family question it. They look into it. And that's sometimes all you need to strike a seed within somebody, first off. I had to restart so many times between these last 3 or 4 years. It's not even funny. Because what you think you have and what you think that you're doing, the wisest person knows very little of what God is actually doing. God knows everything that is already happening under the sun, because nothing is ever new to God. Only things that are new is only to us is because we are not God. So it is okay for you to restart, because you restarting is not saying that you have wiped the past away. It's just to say that now I can't keep doing that. If I want to become who I really want to become, if I want to have nice things, I have to take care of the things I already have and not rip it up. If I want to take care of the one body that I have, I can't smoke it and drink it away. I can't just keep having unprotected sex and doing things like that. I can't keep letting depression and anxiety destroy me, because it's just going to lead to destruction. But if you look at restarting as not a failure, but just a process in the journey, that it takes step by step by step. You're not taking steps back. So people will say that I'm on a streak of not doing this for 100 days. And then the day you do it, now you got to start off at day 1. No, if you broke it at 100 days, restart at 100 days and keep going. You think, and people really defeat themselves. I feel like they defeat themselves because they go back and they see that now I got to restart again. All the stuff that happened in the past doesn't even matter anymore. I wasted my time. That's not true. How many lessons and blessings were in those little parts of your life that you didn't understand, that you failed and failed and failed? And then you had to say, well, I just can't go that way anymore. It's not for me. A criminal is always getting caught should learn not to be a criminal. A person that continues to fall again and again and again to the same sin should obviously find God in that and search for strength that's not within yourself, because clearly you can't do it. Restarting is saying that, man, it didn't even matter who I was going to be or who you were going to be, because God was still always going to be God. God has an unchanging hand. Christ has an unchanging hand. It doesn't matter if you love him, if you like him. It doesn't matter if you deny him or accept him. Christ is still going to be Christ. Christ was still going to die on the cross, going to sacrifice himself for the people that were actually going to accept him, not for the people that weren't going to accept him. He wasn't worried about any of that. He was always going to be who he was going to be. That's what really changed my mindset. That's what really drove me into the place that I really want to be, that I'm in now, is to realize the fact that it didn't matter. It doesn't matter what I am, who I am. The only thing that really matters is that Christ was always going to be and going to do exactly what he was going to do the whole time. And even in the word, right, we see many things that relate to restarting and being okay with it, because even in 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17, therefore if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here. Restarting rarely feels like it really makes sense. Restarting actually feels like it makes no sense, because now you're restarting in a place to where you don't know where to start. But a great place is to start is within yourself. To look with inside of yourself, have self-reflection day in and day out, and realizing what needs to be taken out and what needs to be fixed. Now, God will show you that through certain things, through certain trials, through certain tribulations, through the days of just boringness, of days that are ordinary days that you feel like aren't specials. But a lot of times those are the biggest blessings. And when days aren't happening and you have all the time in the world to actually think about how you can become better. Because faith says this: I don't have to see the whole staircase before I take the first step. All faith requires you to do is just take that first step. And in the book of Matthew, chapter 6, if we can get to it, verses 33, we go on to say, but seek first. I want you to understand what that truly means, right? When we're looking at it, and you take the Bible for what it really says, there's people that I know about, or people in this world that feel like if they know the law and they know certain policies, they will nitpick any little thing that finds a gray area. The thing with the Bible is that it doesn't give a gray area. It gives words that if you use them in the correct context, you can correctly apply them to everything else in life, right? So it says, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you, right? And then goes to verse 34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. So if you want to restart, but you know that I'm going towards Christ when I restart, I'm going towards the person I want to be to restart, I'm going towards the goals when I want to restart, know that everything else will be added unto you. Everything that you're looking for, everything that you are seeking, everything that you're compromising for, everything that you're sacrificing for, I'm not going to say it will automatically be given to you, but at some point, God will not let you be feeling empty. God's not going to leave you feeling empty. God will always leave you feeling satisfied if you have the right mindset on not focusing on what you can do or what you want to do, but who God truly is and what he's doing for you in this life, right? Because maybe you do need a restart. Your prayer life, Bible reading, marriage, discipline, relationship with him. All these things can happen over and over again as long as you are still here. Take advantage of the time and the blessings and the opportunities that God is giving you each and every day to put breath in your lungs and wake you up, in order to not just seek him, but chase after him, right? As almost as if, yes, that you are in a marathon, because it's not a sprint, but it's an endurance race in order to get to Christ, in order to seek his kingdom, because it is not those that quit in the beginning, but those that suffer until the end that will eventually have the eternal promise. In the book of Philippians chapter 12 through 14, to wrap this up, let's see. It goes on to say, not that I have already obtained all of this or have already arrived at my goal, but I press forward, right, to take hold of that for which Jesus Christ took hold of me. Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. It's not to say that you have arrived, but it's to say that I am still learning. That when people see me struggling and I have my good days and my bad days, and they say, why do you keep going? Because I know that tomorrow is a restart for me from the beginning of today. You might have a bad day and nothing's going your way and you're falling short of sin and you feel like you broke your streak and you feel like you don't have enough and you feel like you're not enough. If you wake up the next day, just know that because you restarted, right? It doesn't mean that those lessons and everything didn't happen yesterday. What actually it means is that you restart a new mindset. Because Christ already said that you're a new creation. So every day, whenever he wakes you up on a new day, have a new mindset for God, have a new mindset for your goals, have a new mindset for yourself. Because when you look in the mirror, you have to answer to somebody. When you look in the mirror, you have to talk to yourself. When you look in the mirror, you got to think about yourself. And the way that you think about yourself when you talk to yourself is how you are going to be. So if you are not carrying yourself the way that, if you're not carrying yourself now, thinking about the person that you want to be, then who are you really? If you are not doing the habits and training the way that you are supposed to train in order for you to make it to that event, make it to that race, make it to that competition, then who are you really being? You're not being the person that you want to be. You're being the person that you are now. Now, let me explain one more thing to y'all. My dad is 67 years old and he still sees himself as an opportunity to restart. That tells me, as someone in my 20s, that's someone in their younger 20s, in their 30s, their 40s and 50s. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's all about how you see yourself, and that restarting isn't letting go and dropping everything and thinking that nothing else matters, but it actually means that you just have a new chance and an opportunity to become who you really want to be. But that's all I got for y'all today, bro. I hope y'all feeling loved and blessed as always. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe on the channel if you like this channel and made it this far. And I appreciate y'all as always, bro. Check out the link tree in the bio and in the description. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.